Hey everybody, welcome back, and we are looking at the third part of our review of the Advanced Tobruk system from Critical Hit Incorporated, mainly going over how armor interacts, and we're looking at the scenario Pebbles in the Stream from the game Pantherline. And we're looking at beginning the start of turn 2. Couple things. I did last episode mention that immobilization is on a 10, but I was wrong. I went back and going over the rules. A tracked vehicle immobilizes on an 8 through a 10, so actually a little bit better chance of immobilizing than I would probably like. But since we already did the dice rolls, we're not going to go back and do those over again. And also, a sharp-eyed viewer noticed that the Pack 40 that I had out here actually was originally an SS13, but then I bumped it over to RR13. I thought I'd kind of done that at one point. Usually when I do these videos, I'm kind of doing them, fast, hard, frantic, and trying to get as much information packed into as short a period of time as possible. In the grand scheme of things, it really doesn't make much of a difference. They're not pre-placed setups. The Germans can set up anywhere, pretty much west of hex row 8. So they've got plenty of areas to set up, and either an SS13 or R14 really in the grand scheme doesn't change the flow of the game that much. So we're going to start looking into turn 2 and what we as the Soviets want to do with our turn. Now the two things I can do, I can either try a slow steady advance, digging my way through and shooting up anything that I come across, or I can try for a fast, hard thrust to try to get as much stuff off the other side of the board as possible. So, since this is not a game we're doing for seriousness or competitive play and just kind of mucking around, we're gonna do both. Some of the units are going to do slow, steady advance forward. Others are going to go balls out and try to make it to the other side as quick as they can. We're going to start off with those guys first. So I went ahead and I decided that these guys down here were going to try to go ahead and make a bust through real quick. But they also want to get a little bit of fire in. So we're going to go ahead and activate this first unit. We're going to do assault movement with him, not cross country. So he's only got 5 movement points. But since he's doing assault movement, he can go ahead and shoot at any point during his turn. So before I move, I actually am going to take a shot. Now, since the Germans haven't fired anything yet this turn, I don't know where anything's at, short of whatever's within my spotting range. And if we remember, good infantry in good cover, and most heavy weapons, I believe, in good cover with the hazy conditions, if they haven't done anything, can only be seen like 4 hexes away. So right now, the only thing this guy can see is this stack right here. So we're going to go ahead and fire our main gun and machine guns. We're going to spray those foxholes down. So it's a 76B weapon. So it rolls on the B chart, and it's 4 hexes away. At 4 hexes away, a B-class weapon needs an 8 to hit. It is, because they are actually they are assault firing, that's a +5 to the dice roll, so I need a 3, and the infantry is in good cover, the foxholes, which is another +1, so I need a 0, or I need a 1 or a 2 to hit. Let's go ahead. 6, that's not a hit, that's a miss. We're also going to spray the machine gun fire. Now, if you remember, the tank has 4 and 3, and if we actually even look on the card itself, bow machine gun of 4 and coax machine gun of 3. Add those together, that's 7 firepower. There isn't a 7 column, so you round it down to 6. Roll on the 6 column. And it is, I think it's a little bit different for infantry, for the machine gun firing, because you're not actually firing at the hex, you're firing it as yeah, sorry, totally lost my train of thought. Okay, so it's on the 6 column, +1 for the good cover, and I believe we consider that running movement because it's assault, the assault movement. I don't know, is it just regular assault movement? It's just regular assault movement. So that's a -1. Or a +1 dice roll, I should say. Did I read that right? You know what? I think I read that wrong. Hit probability, cover state effects. Well, you know what? Not to get too tied up on anything, I'm just going to go ahead and go with... You know what? I'm going to pause this real quick because I need to check this. I will be right back. Alrighty, and we are back, and I feel like a complete moron. The firing modifier for someone who is conducting an assault move, which is basically what that T-34 is doing, is halves their infantry firepower. So they've got 7. There is no 7 column, rounded down to the 6 column there, and you have to have that. Brings it down to a 3, but there is no 3 column, so it rolls on the 2 column. And the dice roll is +1 for the good cover of the infantry and the foxhole. And what do we get? We get a 7, and I'm fairly certain that a 7 on the 2 column is a big fat goose egg. Nothing. Well, now that they've already shot, now we go ahead and get to move them. So we're going to go ahead and spend 5 movement points, and we're going to be ballsy. 1, a 2, a 3, and you know what? At this point, the squad here is going to go ahead and fire because they want to try to drive the infantry off that machine, off the tank. So what have we got here? We got 2 squads and an NCO and an LMG for a grand total of, if I can get rid of the glare, 6, 12, 17 firepower. Put them back in their little foxholes. So 17 firepower. Now I have to remember if there's point blank. I do not think there's point blank. So it's just a 17, which rounds down to a 14. And the vehicle is assault, so that's a -1. And we're just spraying fire at the vehicle. So we're on the 14 column at +1. We get a 6 +1 is a 7. And that is a C1. Finally, some casualties have been inflicted. So they go ahead. Now, since they were shot at, well, the vehicle that they were shot at wasn't, or they were the targets of the fire, not necessarily the vehicle. And you know what? To be honest, I'm not really sure I'm doing that right. Because I know if a main gun or a big gun fires at a tank with a vehicle or with passengers on it, they get knocked off. I'm not sure about machine gun fire spraying tanks and what happens to the infantry on it. So instead of just pausing the game and continuing going on, we're just going to say they don't, but they do have to make a morale check. So 8, let's see. Soviet infantry, 6, 4, 8. So their morale is 8, but they've got a casualty marker on it, which makes it a 7. And they took 1 casualty this round, which makes it a 6. And we got a bunch for the morale support ranges. So let's take a look at the morale support range tables. Because I know if they're stacked with a tank, that gives them a +1. So that brings them back up to a 7. But there are 2 enemy units adjacent to them. So that's another -1 for each one of those. So that brings it down to a 5. Now we roll a 3, so they're perfectly fine. And you know what? The machine gun, the light machine gun actually has a rate of fire 2, so the light machine gun is going to go ahead and spray its fire again, trying to drive off trying to do something to that infantry. So their firepower is a 5. There's no 5 column, reduce it to a 4, +1 for the movement, -1 for the NCO. Forgot that, so it's a straight up roll. 5 on the 4 column is a C1 casualty. So that will actually end up flipping them. And they have to take another morale check. 6, -1 for the casualty that they'd stay in this turn, makes it a 5. +1 for the tank is a 6. -1 for each of the infantry units next to it, 5, 4. Hey, 10. Uh-oh. It could be good, it could be bad. Remember on 10s, we got to roll it again on morale checks. And we get a 3. Okay, so they will end up being broken. I think at that point, it was safe to say they've probably been knocked off the tank at that point. Again, I apologize that I did not have those rules completely figured out in my mind beforehand, because I usually do try to get all the rules that I could think that's going to show up in the gameplay checked out beforehand, but that's one that did not. So anyways, you spent 4 movement points, and the tank is going to continue on to 5. So the tank really doesn't care about the infantry, and screw you. So we got, they have moved. Actually, they assault move, so it goes behind them. And these guys have fired. Alrighty, so these guys right behind them, this tank back here is going to do the exact same thing, but they're going to advance 1 hex. Now they, well, since this unit fired, now everybody can see them. But I'm going to go ahead and go 1, 2, 3. I'm going to stop there, and I'm going to fire my main gun and machine guns. So now we're at a range of 0 to 2, which is kind of the best odds. That's kind of the sweet spot you want to be with guns. 0 to 2 is the best range modifier you can get, and that's a 9. -5 for the vehicle assault moving, which makes it a 4. 3 for the infantry being in the foxholes. Hey, 1, they hit. Wow, they actually hit, which actually earns them burst on target marker, and can increase their remaining rate of fire, double their remaining rate of fire, but they've only got a rate of fire of 1. So it will come in handy next turn if they decide to fire. So we have to look. They got hit with a 75 millimeter, or actually 76 millimeter. There is no 76 millimeter on the casualty chart. It just rounds down to 75, which is on the 14 column. And this is a straight up dice roll, no modifiers, because the modifiers for the cover state for them being in foxholes was already taken into account with the hit roll. And we got a 4. Ooh, that's nasty. That's a C3. So that's 3 casualties off the infantry. Let's see how we want to break that down. You know what? I think we're going to go ahead and flip the NCO. He'll take a wound. And the other 2 guys are going to take casualties. All right, now, okay, this is going to be fun for morale. Okay, so we're looking at 6. The reduced state because of the casualty makes it a 5. The stack took 3 casualties, so that's 5, 4, 3, 2. They've got an NCO, that's 3. Another leader's 4. Unfortunately, the 2 vehicles makes it, or the vehicle makes it -2, or 2. And then the, but that's not a 3 stack. So, okay, looking at it over again. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 2. So we're looking at 2s. So the first squad rolls a 0. Oh, what's up with all the zeros today? Let's see if we get a hero or a fanatic or anything. Nope, nothing out of that. So they break. The second squad, 1. They're good to go. And the leader rolls a 6, so he breaks. Actually, it's actually not too bad because the guy who didn't break is the guy with the machine gun. So we did have 2 guys break. And let's not go ahead and put everything back yet because the vehicle also has its machine guns. So we already determined from the previous machine gun, 7 firepower, which is on the 6 column. They're halved for assault fire, brings it down to 3, which is actually down to the 2 column. So, well, let's see. Am I doing that right? 7 halved that firepower is 3.5, which is 3, which goes down to the 2 column anyway. Okay, so I'm doing a little ass backwards, but I got to the same point anyway. So 2 + 1 for the cover state. Ooh, 1. Wow, that tank is on fire. Is that a T-34-76? Okay, that is. I was thinking maybe it was an 85 and it would have been even more nasty. So a 1 on, or actually 1 + 1 is a 2 on the 2 column is a C1. Oh, that's not good. All right, well, you know, these poor broken guys, they're going to go ahead and get flipped over. So now I have to make another morale check. They're at a 4. Let's see, it's going to be -1, -2, -1. So 4, 3 for him. Okay, he's broken already. Oh, he surrenders. 6 minus 1 is a 5. Actually, the leader should be the first one, so the leader's fine. Then he would have broken. And then the unbroken squad is a 6. So, geez, what is up with all these 10s? I'm going to stop rolling that dice. And, of course, nothing, so he breaks. So, we've got a broken leader, a broken squad, and we actually have a surrendered squad. Let me see if I can even find the surrendered markers. It happens so very rarely. I can't add that there. And the pink ones. Okay. And surrendered. Wow, that's going to come into play at the end of the game, or into the end of the match. And this goes back on top of here. And he moved 3. So let's go ahead and move him 1 more right there. Actually, the broken guys will be underneath him. And he'll be right there with the infantry riding. Movement for the tank in front of him. And now movement for that tank that just moved right there. All right. Now, see, I wasn't wanting to fire in the PaK-40 because I didn't want to burn my PaK-40's burst on target on the vehicle that I've already got the line of sight on, or already got the burst on target on. So that's why I could have done op fire. Maybe I should have, but you know, hey, that's what wargaming is all about. Wargaming is all about making choices. So now let's go ahead and look at up in the northern area a little bit. And I probably should not have pushed these tanks up this way. All right, so we're going to move, but these guys are going to go cross country. We're going to go and bust out Hellbent for Leather. All right. So that's 15 movement points. So it's going to be 2 to move up. And then I think it's another +1 for entering the wire hex. Let me check that real quick. Wire. Nope, just cost of terrain. Problem is, it is an immobilization bog terrain type. So I got to roll to see if the vehicle bogs. And you do that after you enter. So I'm in the wire hex. 8. Oh, wonderful. He will get an immediate M kill. I told you. I have to bog at least 1 vehicle every game I play with vehicles in it. Ugh. All right, now they need to make a broken test or morale test. And they may roll a 1. Their morale's a 7, so they're good to go. The vehicle actually can remain on the field with the crew in it. Unfortunately, they are... If I can find my M kill markers... Is that an M kill? There we go. There is an M kill marker. So mobility killed, and they can remain in there, and they can actually keep shooting. Unfortunately, there's not really much that they have line of sight on. The way pancaking and everything works, they might have line of sight over here. I don't think so. They might there. I know they don't have line of sight there. So, that's not good, and the infantry is still there. Unfortunately, I can't dump off the infantry yet because that, I believe, is done at the beginning of the turn. So the infantry, for the time being, is going to stay right there. So we're going to move the vehicle behind them. All right, so we're going to go 1. Do I want to overstack that hex? Yeah, we'll go ahead and move into that hex. So 1, 2, 3 to move into there. Bog test. 5. Okay, they're good. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And these guys will go ahead and spray fire to try to do something to the infantry, because they can see straight down the slope. So they got 6, and they're moving, so it's going to be a +1. 4 is a 5 on the 6 column, and that is going to be a C1. All right. So who's all in there? We've got a squad with an ATR, and a non-com, so we'll go ahead and put the casualty on the infantry. Let's see, they're going to be an 8, 7, 6, 7 for the tank, 8 for the NCO. So, okay, they're good, and the NCO is a 7, 6 for the casualty, 7 for the squad, 8 for the tank. And there too. Okay, so they're good to go. We do have another casualty inflicted. So what do we say that was? That was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What are shell holes? I can't remember what shell holes called. Hang on. I gotta check what shell holes. Shell holes. 2 points. Okay, so we're looking at 8, or let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11, and you know what? We're going to take a pot shot from here because we have the Panzerfaust, and it's got a range of, oh, no, it's only got a range of 1. This is only 1944. So they are not going to be taking a pot shot, but they will fire the machine gun fire to spray off the infantry. So we got a medium machine gun there at an 8, and it's NCO directed. So 8 column at +1 for our assault moving. Oh no, they're considered running, so it's -2, and then +1 for the NCO. So it is a grand total of -1 on the dice roll. No, hang on. Cover state is that. Oh, they are running. So yeah, so it's a -1 or minus. Actually, it'll be a -3. -2 for the running, -1 for the NCO. 5 -3 is 2. On the 8 column, which is the C3. Uh-oh. Well, we're going to go ahead and wound the NCO. And then flip and reduce these guys. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4 for his morale. We get a 4 there, good. 6, 5, 4, 3, 4 for his morale. Yes, 4 for his morale. Actually, I should have rolled him first. So, oh, God, another 0 for morale. Uh-oh. What happens when a leader? I believe a leader goes heroic. I honestly think he does. I haven't checked the heroic rules lately because it doesn't happen, but like 1 in 100 times. So we're going to say, just for ease of everything, and I'll check it later, he will go heroic. Yay! All right. Get those all stacked into there. Yeah, what were we looking at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Oh, almost made it off. Almost. So very close to making it off. Problem is, German reinforcements are going to show up and probably eat them this turn. Maybe. We'll see. Who knows what'll happen. As we've already seen, we don't have control over the dice. So the dice like to do weird, funny things to us at times. Now, we only went with rate of fire of 1 on that machine gun, so he technically still has 1 rate of fire left with the machine gun. So now we got the big boys over here. These guys in the back. What exactly are they going to do? Well, I think, just so I don't have to worry about the gun duel rules, the T-34-76 in the lead, actually, he can't fire at him because he can't see him. Or did that break? No, yeah, they fell back under fog of war. They know he's there, they know they're there, and they know they're there. They are there. They're there. Yes, you grammar Nazis are probably having a very, or pulling a conniption fit. You know what? Let's just go ahead and go balls out. Let's go 1, 2, 3. No. 1, That puts me within 4 hexes. So we are going to go ahead and shoot at these guys because we can now see them. Problem is, I am going to have to turn my turret, which is fine because we've got these handy dandy little turrets. So we'll point it that way. So now, because as it stands now, these are his front arcs. So I'm going to have to turn the hex at least 1 counter, rotation 1 hex to be able to make this his new front arc to be able to shoot there. So we're looking at 4 hexes. It's going to be an 8. He's assault moving, which is a +5, which makes it a 3. The guys in the foxholes are a 2. He did 1 vehicle covered arc change, which is another one, so it's a 1. Ugh. And it's a 7. It's a miss, but he does get a burst on target. Oh no, he didn't because he missed. Spraying machine gun fire. You know it's going to be the 2 column +1. 5. 5 on the 2 column is nothing. Actually, it'll be a 6 because of they're in cover. So that's 1 movement point that he moved there. Oh, actually, half a movement point because he's on the road. Still don't want to fire the Pak 40. So a 2. And you know what? No, we're not going to do anything yet. We're going to go 3. I know what's in that hex. So let's go ahead and do it anyways. A 4. And at that point, the Panzerschreck is going to open fire at a range of 2 hexes. Now, I could have opened fire at a range of 5 hexes, but you need like a base 2 to hit or something like that. So since they use a shape, since it uses its own chart, Panzerfaust, Panzerschrecks, the range is 2, as I need a base to hit a 5. And looking over everything else, target size, it's a normal size, so there's no target on that. Let's see, burst, fire vehicle, elite. Oh, moving target +2. So we're looking at a 3 to hit. So 6, nope, it's a miss. Oh well. And you know what? We'll go ahead and fire the 2 machine guns, or the 2 infantry squads as well, for a grand total of 12. So 2. And their moving target, or their assault moving, so it's a -1, so it's actually a 1 on the 12. Ooh, that's a C3. Wow. Alright, so C3, that means they all have to go onto the 1 guy, so he flips and is marked with a casualty marker. The morale is going to be 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 3 because of the tank. 8. He breaks. No big surprise, so we'll go say he jumps off the vehicle. I will have to look at the rules on that and clarify that a little bit more, because I know if a tank with riders gets hit by a tank gun, then the infantry have to jump off, but I can't remember about small arms fire. So anyways, we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4 fired, so that means he's assault moving, and we'll go ahead and move to here, 5. Again, the Pak 40 doesn't want to do anything because it's got that bot target on the T-34-85. Well, you know what? Let's go ahead and move the infantry. So they've got 1, 2, pretty much all the Germans are fired, so 3, 4. I'll be nice and safe in those foxholes. Now, technically, the machine gun does have rate of fire. Still got 1 rate of fire, so let's go ahead and burn some ammo at them while they're right here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the range of the weapon is 14, so it's an 8. Let's see, we do have an NCO there, so it's an 8 +1 for the NCO, -1 for, -1 for the NCO, +1 for their movement state of assault moving. So it's an 8 even on a 7. So a 7 on an 8 column, I'm pretty sure is nothing. Yep, it's nothing. So they burned off their second rate of fire and didn't do anything. And the Soviet squad managed to jump into the foxhole. And these guys are going to declare a gun duel. Now, instead of pausing the camera again, I'm fairly certain gun duel comes down to an initiative dice roll. Whoever rolls lowest actually managed to get the shot off first. So we'll go white for the Soviets, green for the Germans. That's okay. Well, we got 3-3, so we roll again. I'm 8-0, so Germans rolled lowest. So the pack 40 will actually get the shot off first. We already know from previous that it's an 8 to hit, 9, 10, 11 because of the burst on target. So yeah, and then I think the tank there is obscuring. So that's a -1. So yeah, we're looking at a 10. Okay, 9. That is a hit. Okay. So let's go ahead. And I don't think I get to do the full rate of fire with both of them. Again, I'll have to take a look at the actual rules on gun duels. Again, I apologize. I kind of looked over it, but didn't think I was going to get into that situation. So we need to roll for hit location. 2 is a turret hit. And we already know the penetration at that range is a 12 versus the upper hull or the turret of the T-34-85, which I remember from looking for our lovely little card, is a 10. So the difference is +2. Not the greatest, but basically anything 5 or less and I get something. Whoops, that doesn't count because that bounced out of the glass. We got and for some odd reason, my camera decided to die, and I didn't even realize till like 10 minutes later that camera had actually stopped recording. So basically, from what I remember from going back and reviewing the video, the T-34 shot back at the Pac 40 and missed. And that was kind of pretty much the last thing that was going to happen. So basically it's the now the end phase, and all fired and moved markers get removed. Excuse me. And let's see. The Soviet player can now try to rally. Unfortunately, none of his guys are stacked with leaders. His broken guys here and there, not stacked with leaders. Actually, even before that is the assault phase. They're riding the tank. They're sitting. You know what? These guys are going to go ahead and advance off of the tank and advance there. And I think that's all we have for advances. Vehicles can advance. And also I could do grenade attacks or initiate hand-to-hand, but these guys are riding the tank. And I don't think they can jump off. Now these guys, I'm assuming, probably could have gotten off during the movement phase when the tank realized it was foobarred. I may be doing that wrong. I don't know. I'll go back and take a look at the rules. But we also have casualties we need to figure out. For the most part, and I should have been keeping tally of this, I think there was 1, 2, 3, maybe 4, yeah, 4 units that were step reduced. Basically, a step reduction is worth 1 value, 1 point on the for casualties when it comes to the escalation. We don't have to worry about rolling for that yet. That's done at the end of the turn after the Germans actually get their turn. So now basically what we would be doing is flipping over into the Germans' turn. And since this video ran on way longer than I expected to, and since the Germans actually have got some stuff they're going to be doing, moving stuff on and some other stuff, they are going to go ahead and make that another video. So hopefully we'll get that relatively soon. hope everybody enjoyed the video. Keep watching, leave comments, subscribe. You know you want to. And I will talk to everybody later. Thanks for watching, folks.